Welcome to Selling Magic, the series for expert service providers in the spiritual, teaching, and personal transformation industries. Listener, this is for you if you're interested in what it takes to sell something that can't be held in the palm of your hand, how to sell and profit from intangible things like potential and meaning and power and change. I'm your host, Anna Bellissima. You can find me on all social media channels, and my guests here share their hard-won wisdom, their cautionary tales to help you grow your business. Selling Magic is brought to you by The Demand Shift. This is the dark art of attraction marketing for inbound leads. It creates a pivot for your brand messaging that leads to more engagement, more inquiries, more motivated buyers, and it does not rely on constant content creation or live launches, and it works on any platform or medium you prefer. And to learn more, you can read about it at thedemandshift.com. That's thedemandshift.com. And today's guest is Farhana Hussain. Farhana is Britain's best-known divorce doula. She is transforming how we navigate divorce, and with a unique blend of emotional support, practical guidance, and transformational tools, Farhana bridges the gap left by traditional services, helping women not to just survive, but to thrive beyond divorce. Farhana is known for her compassionate yet tough love approach, and she empowers her clients to reclaim their confidence, rediscover their purpose, and rebuild a life they love. Her work has been featured on Sky News, the BBC, and in publications like Good Housekeeping and Grazia and the Evening Standard. Farhana is a trusted voice in the divorce space, and she offers bold, relatable insights that resonate deeply with audiences. From her personal journey as a British Bangladeshi woman, breaking cultural taboos around divorce, to her role as a pioneer in holistic divorce support, Farhana brings a unique perspective. Her candid, inspiring message is clear: divorce is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your next chapter. Farhana, welcome to Selling Magic.
Thank you. Hi, Anna.
Hi, it's so good to have you here. So tell me, let's go. What is the best piece of marketing advice you could give to somebody who is just starting out in your industry?
Okay, believe it or not, some of my clients are people who come to me because they are intrigued in my business as a divorce doula and are curious about becoming divorce coaches themselves. They end up becoming my clients, and it's the one piece of advice I would give to somebody who is thinking about becoming a divorce coach is to get your messaging really, really clear. It's the number one thing that has really transformed my business, is really, really understanding what it is that you are supporting your clients with, what it is that your clients are going to walk away with, and being able to really speak to your ideal client. And that is through messaging. So my number one advice would be invest time and energy in your messaging.
So when you started out in your business, were you straight away the divorce doula, or was there a whole journey that you went through to arrive at that identity?
I wish it was as simple as that, but no, it took me quite a long time to really establish myself as a divorce doula and be known as one of Britain's best known divorce doulas. A lot of that was the internal work. A lot of that had to do with people will laugh at me if I call myself a divorce doula. What will people say? Seeing a South Asian woman talking about divorce, I'm promoting divorce, I'm going to be stoned to death. So a lot of it was the internal fear-based stuff that was stopping me from growing my business on the outside. And so I was quite surprised that a lot of my work with my coaches involved actually my internal beliefs. So it was really working through that layer by layer, getting comfortable, looking at my shadows, loving those, etc., getting really comfortable and then confident using the title divorce doula. It then went on to, okay, well, what does that actually mean? Is this just a fancy title, or is there more to this? It then went on to looking at, what within my niche are my big promises that I'm offering to people. So it was really revisiting, refining, distilling those messages over and over again about how I was positioning myself within a niche. And then after that, really, it has very much been a journey of continuing to work with my internal belief systems to break through and, to level up, and to work on my messaging, to keep on refining that messaging. And there's never really a point where you're like, I've smashed it, I've got it, because things are always changing. And the more I work with my clients and really, really listen to what it is that they want to be feeling instead of where they are now, the more I refine my messaging. So there's always more you can do. So yes, it wasn't a simple, I've decided to become a divorce doula and that's it.
If only it was that simple, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the kind of magic and hyper sigil and like the whole concept that our consciousness and our experience is created from language, and that language is at the root of it all. So I'm curious to know whether you feel like because you talked very eloquently about doing the internal work in tandem with your marketing and messaging work. But I'm curious to know if you feel like your personal identity shift led the changes to your messaging, or vice versa, or if you really feel like they're indistinguishable and they just run alongside each other.
Yeah, I really love that you use the word in tandem. I think of it like a dance. It's a dance. And they are very much intertwined with each other. So you're doing the internal work that dissolves some of those blocks that allow you to show up and speak up and write in a way that is more true and authentic, certainly to who I am and what I want to bring to the world, and how I know I can heal and support people going through divorce and rebuilding a life afterwards. So there is those blocks that dissolve that allow me to show up and speak up in that way. Then the more I am speaking up in that way and using that language in my copy, in my messaging, in social media, and starting to build those relationships and seeing the kind of response I'm getting to that then feeds into my internal belief systems that then, either are validating or not either are validating, and then because we're always continuing to grow and stretch and heal, it is a cycle and a process that you then come along to other blocks that you didn't realize were what's it called, stopping that, creating that upper limit.
Right. Yes. You kind of hit an edge, right? And then the challenge is to explore why you seem to have stopped here and have started finding it comfortable.
So it's a dance, and one of the things it's making me laugh is how you think you've got your messaging right, and people are responding, and it's quite exciting, and it's working. And you're like, yes, I've nailed it. And then suddenly, for some reason, things go quiet again, or people aren't quite responding in the way you want to, and your beloved coaches say, look at your messaging again, go and interview some more people, revisit that language. And you're having these, well, mine weren't quite internal, mine were also external, tantrums, because you're like, I've done this work, I'm tired now, I'm not good enough, I didn't get it right the first time. And so it's all these internal beliefs again that come up. You have to work through them again. You're working through them, but you're working through them at a deeper level. And that then, it's like, okay, right. Wipe your tears, go back to doing a bit more market research.
Indeed. And if we look, I think it's easy to fall prey to the illusion that we're the only person going through it, where if you look at kind of any successful brand, even brands that have been around, literally for, I mean, I don't even know how old brands like Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola Company are, but, like Walt Disney Company. But if you look like brands that have been around for decades and decades are still constantly reinventing, reimagining, rebranding, changing their positioning, changing how they talk about their, the work that they do. It is like, and we don't get to be exempt from that because we're one person businesses. And I think it's just the kind of the sacrifice that the spirit of business demands is that it can't like only grow in one dimension. It has to evolve in all dimensions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly in my niche, I'm having to constantly be looking at the trends in the divorce world. For example, at the moment, the clients that are coming to me are older clients that are coming to me with similar and different priorities. And so I'm having to really think about, where they are now as they're coming up to midlife or retirement, other significant life transitions alongside divorce. And what is a language now that I need to be thinking about that's going to be more specific to that area?
That brings up a specific challenge, doesn't it, around deciding like who you want to work with. So whether you want to like expand your niche and expand your like with the understanding that it will be you're essentially trying to meet two different audiences, or whether to like focus on the midlife empty nester retiree market and franchise your business model for people to pick up other sectors.
Well, I think again, this is the beauty of constantly doing the market research, talking to your ideal clients, really understanding what the biggest problems are and what are the promises that you can deliver, and then being able to make more informed decisions about, is there the demand for niching down even further, or will my messaging allow me to capture a wider audience within my very specific niche?
Tell me about how magic manifests within your business. Do you teach magic? I know that the transformation that your clients experience is magic. Or do you hold your magic cards, your oracle cards, more closely to your chest, as it were, and deploy magic for your own gains and your own ends and your business growth? Or are you, I have met people who have really like sworn off magic and business as bedfellows and been like, can something as etheric as magic really impact something as earthbound and mundane, was the exact word used, as business? To which my response was, of course. But I'd love to hear about your experience with that.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and one I've never been asked, funny enough. I love it, or really thought about it in the way that you've just posed it. So is magic something that I teach to my clients? Yes and no would be the answer. So I'll answer the first part by sort of explaining to you maybe one of my daily rituals. So I am very committed to my daily rituals. They're an absolute non-negotiable. They are what has allowed me to build the business and the credibility I have in my business in a very short period of time. And it has allowed me in my personal life as well to show up as I do. So as part of those daily rituals, I absolutely incorporate magic into that. There's no way I couldn't. And I know that is really what underpins all my successes. And I don't even have to know what I know. So I will just leave it at that. When it comes to my clients, I don't use the word magic. but it's absolutely there in terms of, I speak about spiritual growth. And so many of my clients who come to me actually have never really even delved into that area, into that field, that spiritual field, or even understand or know that they have this spiritual body. But they're very curious, which is, of course, why they work with me in the first place, because I'm not just offering a listening ear. I'm definitely not offering therapy. I'm not just a coach. It is so much more than that, because we are tapping into our different energy fields. So I talk a lot about the spirit and energy. And when you are going through one of life's most complex and often traumatic transitions, you cannot avoid, if you want to rebuild and reimagine a life you are going to absolutely love, you cannot avoid not talking about the magic and spirituality.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much. So tell us, how can we learn more about what you do? Who gets the most out of working with you?
So you can find out all about me at my website, which is www.mydivorcedoula.org.uk. You can also find me on Instagram. I have a private Facebook group called Divorce Dialogue. You can come and hang out with me there. I'm also on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, so all the social platforms, mydivorcedoula.org.uk, Facebook Divorce Dialogue. People are going to find you if they look for you, right?
Absolutely, yeah, they can. So you can come and work with me one-to-one or in a group. My signature group program is called Inside Out, and that is a really powerful group, which is often the people who will get the best out of working with me are people who have got a good idea of what they want and even cognitively understand how to get that. They're often frustrated because they don't understand why they haven't got there already, because it all logically makes sense to them.
Yeah.
But they're still stuck and they're still feeling really, really frustrated, and they don't want to live like this anymore. They are absolutely clear on that. What I offer them are the actions, the practical hands-on tools that they can start practicing from day one, that are not going to only make changes in their lives, in the things that they already know logically, but are going to be long-lasting, because we are going to be practicing those changes through working together over a period of time and embodying those changes. So it's about action, it's about accountability, and it's about a beautiful community of women who really get what you're speaking about, understand your language, because they've been there or they're going through it at the moment.
Fantastic. And that's where the magic happens. That's where it happens. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to draw our conversation to a close. Thank you so much, Farhana Hussain, for coming on and sharing your wisdom about thriving through divorce, and indeed about messaging for relationship coaches, I guess we could say. Again, you can learn more about what Farhana does by visiting mydivorcedoula.org.uk, her Facebook group, The Divorce Dialogue, and check out her group program, Inside Out. And if you are in the business of selling magic, I would love to have you on a future episode, a future interview, and you'll find the link to apply in the description below, along with all Farhana's links as well. Once again, if you want to switch on a golden tap of hot leads flowing into your business, people who want what you're selling, check out the lesson at thedemandshift.com. That's all for now. Remember, you are magic. Be bold, stay sharp, say your prayers, and I will see you later.